Hi, I'm Max and I'm going to show you some really neat ways of making beautiful kind of planters and containers for the space at your home. Whether it's a window box or whether it's a small courtyard area you've got, don't feel limited. You don't need a massive back garden to be able to do this. The theme I think we should go for is Alice in Wonderland. It's magical, it's mysterious and it's really good fun. And that's what wildflowers allow. They're beautiful, they're vibrant, they're quite inspirational. So let's hope these containers that we're going to make are just in keeping with that philosophy. Now the first project I'm going to show you involves this cable reel. These are so readily available. If you drive around an industrial estate, you'll see these things stacked outside and the owners are more than willing to let you have them. They'd probably pay you to take them away. Now I can't help but think with this whole Alice in Wonderland theme being quite playful, this looks a bit like a top hat. So the intention is we're going to paint the top piece black, down here black as well, and then this is going to be a nice vibrant bright green with bits of grass lapping up the sides. We're going to get some playing cards and staple gun them to the sides, and then we're going to cut out a slightly larger hole in the centre at the top, recess in a plant pot and then fill it with some lovely wildflowers, and I think that's going to look stunning. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw around this plant pot. Now it's just an old used plant pot, nothing fancy. The benefit of using something like this is it's already got the drainage holes because that's really important with wildflowers. So we're going to line it up with the middle, draw around it with a pencil, and then I'm going to cut that out about 1 centimetre inside just to make sure it lips on there nicely, and I'm going to use a jigsaw for that. So not really a specialist tool, you can borrow one of these, you can buy them from a DIY store, but just make sure you wear goggles when you're using one. Right, I'm just going to try that for size because you can always take a bit more off, but you can't put it back on. Oh, it's nice and tight. Do you know what? That's almost there. I want it to be a separate component so you can lift it in and lift it out if you need to. And because it's black, it's going to blend in nicely with the black of the top hat anyway. So I think I'll trim that up, give it a sand, clean it up, and then we can get painting. Now the joy of working with salvage materials is that they're not always beautiful and clean and ready to work with, so I'm going to give it a sand all over, just a really light sand to get off any debris and grit and dirt and stuff, so that when we paint it, the paint sticks really well. Right, so we finished sanding it down. I've got rid of all the dust with a very professional paintbrush, and I'm going to paint it with chalkboard paint. Now this stuff used to be available in black, black or black, but now you can get it mixed to absolutely any colour. So with that in mind, I chose black, because it's the Mad Hatter's top hat, obviously. So I'm going to give it a nice generous coat all over. This stuff so it sticks really well. Probably only need one coat, but potentially I'm going to go over it a second time, and then we're going to move on to the green grass, lapping up from the bottom, and then this is going to take shape now, isn't it? This is the fun bit. I think a project like this would probably take maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, just work with friends and family and get everyone involved. Have a production line going maybe. I must admit I'm slightly addicted to chalkboard paint. I've got it in the bathroom at work and it's incredible. If you ask someone to write a statement down with a pen and paper, they kind of clam up and don't express themselves, whereas when you just leave a piece of chalk next to the toilet, they feel free and lose their inhibitions and they doodle and they draw like a child. Now one of the other joys of working with a salvaged piece of material, obviously I haven't made this to suit, so the proportions aren't quite top hat enough. So I'm only going to take the black down to about this height here, and the grass is going to lap up because I think that looks more like the Mad Hatter's top hat. Maybe I'm getting a bit too into this, but I know what I mean. Now I've chosen a really vibrant green for the grass. It's not strictly grass green, but I want this to be such a bright, playful talking piece. So we're going to go really vibrant green on the base. We're going to lap the grass up, and then I'm going to use a yellowy green to just highlight those blades to give it a little bit of depth. It's not a work of art, but I think we can still be quite fun with what we're doing. Look at that. Now if you're worried about using a vibrant colour, get one of these tester pots. I think this was £1 from a DIY store. It's 250ml, so actually this is going to be enough to do the whole of that base. And then if you don't like it, it's only £1, isn't it? So I've completed the base coat of the green, and now I'm just going to add with a slightly finer brush a few grassy details. I think the key is to not concentrate too much, don't worry about it, just do a few flicks of the brush just to create a grassy meadow kind of area. Now just because this is going in the garden and it's a planter, I don't think we should make it more crude or put less effort in. So I'm going to personalise it a little bit now, and I've got a much lighter green just to give some accents and highlights on the grass. It's possibly being a bit picky, but again, like I say, let's just really go to town. Let's make something quite spectacular. I'm absolutely delighted with how that grass has turned out. I think it's so playful, light-hearted. I'd have that in my back garden, but the finishing touch, Queen of Hearts. Now this is the really fun bit for me because I'm used to making stuff out of junk. That's what I do all day, every day, but planting stuff up, that's way out of my jurisdiction. So I'm under strict instructions. You need a good handful of stones, and that aids the drainage. You could use broken crockery, but be careful because it gets really sharp. I have played with that before and I hurt my fingers. So a few more stones just to cover the bottom. And then we've got multi-purpose compost, or you can use soil, but don't use the really rich compost because it's too much for the wild flowers. We're going to fill the pot till about 1 inch, which is 25mm from the top. Don't feel like you have to fill it completely because then the water just runs off and doesn't soak in. Now the other fact I found quite amazing was that you don't bury the seeds. Again, what I would do at this point is I'd probably put the seeds in and then put loads on top, but you don't. You fill this right the way to 25ml. So carefully measure out just a fraction of the seeds in the pack. I'm going to use probably less than 1/4 actually. And then I'm just going to shake my hand. I love how diverse the seeds are. They're not all the same. Everything's completely unique. Seeds actually like the sunshine. They don't want to be buried underneath all that compost. But I'm just going to give them a really light sprinkle afterwards. Just like a dusting of sugar on a cake or something. That's something I can relate to easier. Done. Bit of water. Again, not too much, we don't want to drown them. I'll be honest, I've never actually made one of these before, and it was just a bit of an idea I doodled on a scrap of paper, but it's turned out brilliantly. I'm so happy, and it was actually relatively easy. I've even learned how to sow seeds, and there's some really interesting facts in there that are just so simple. Grow Wild UK would love to see what you come up with, and if you could share your pictures on social media, that'd be amazing. If you could use the hashtag GWCreate, and then we'll have a good look at what you've come up with. Just go crazy, have loads of fun, go to the local tip, go to the industrial estate, get tyres and pallets, personalise it, make it your own, and maybe involve all the family. But the main thing is just have fun and give it a go.